and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the cream of the crop, tip at the top, slowest growing Battlebots podcast in all of creation. Dig it!
Are you alright?
Doing that voice is hard, man, I tell you.
I mean, look,
anyway.
Vince McMahon's harder, trust me.
True. Anyway, this is Jack Finney, your host and the handsomest man this side of the podcast. And opposite me, we have Australia's greatest export, an amateur grill master, king of making movies about knitting, and the owner of the most impressive anime figurine collection this side of the Gold Coast, the Mac. Mac, if you'd like to say a few words.
I like that you just kind of called me ugly without saying that I'm ugly.
I never said you were ugly.
I heard what you said, motherfucker.
I said I was the most handsome this side of the podcast.
Oh yeah, fucking whatever.
I mean, come on, I never said you were ugly.
You implied it. You implied it.
Well, if you want to think that, you can think that. Anyway, right, okay, what an episode that we have for you today after what was a fantastic episode the other day. Mac, do you have any thoughts on the start of the episode before we really kick things off?
Like in terms of what you mean?
Well, let's see, we had the fantastic intro from Chris and Kenny with the Terminator debate.
Oh, it's oh god, yeah.
Debate?
I mean, Kenny is not wrong.
Yeah, Terminator 2 is the superior movie, but they are both absolutely fantastic pieces of cinema. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I mean, the second one. It's the best sequel. It's the best sequel of all time.
Oh well, there is a little bit of debate there. I mean, it's up against a movie like Aliens, for example.
Yeah, but Aliens is for marks, you know.
Or what about Mad Max: The Road Warrior?
Yeah, like it's... Yeah, okay, yeah, fair.
But we are not here to debate sequels. Not today, anyway.
Well, I mean, today's episode is a sequel. It's a sequel to episode 1.
True. You've got me there. I'll give you that. But yeah, we had a fantastic Terminator debate, a great preview for what was to come in the episode, and right away we kick things off absolutely hot as we saw Mad Catter take on... the Yeti!
My god, it's the Yeti!
Oh, dude, what an opener.
That was...
turned out to be.
An amazing fight. Like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, right away, Farouk just spitting fire right from the very beginning, and then we got the return of the greatest showman in the sport of Battlebots right now.
Yeah.
Martin fucking Mason.
The man himself, the man who puts actual fucking wrestlers like the same with his promos.
The man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour.
We had the biggest, we popped hard for the fucking Randy Savage sign. Like,
oh, dude, it was absolutely perfect.
It was.
He looks like the big boss man. He talks like Randy Savage. Next,
oh
you'll be telling me he fights crime.
God. Like, he's straight up one of the best, like, I guess, I want to say characters on the show, but, like, I guess that kind of worked for him, but, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, this is the thing. We are seeing an increase in characters amongst the show. For example, we've got Bunny from Team Malice.
Yeah,
there's always been Ray with Tombstone. There's Jake from the Hydra team, for example, as well. Yeah. With just playing it being the bad guy.
Yeah.
But Martin Mason, he is absolutely the best gimmick amongst the
quite literally the cream of the crop.
Yes, and that's that also quite roundly applies to Mad Catter as well, which has just one of the absolute best gimmicks amongst all the robots. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking machine, and it is an absolute terror in the battle box, as we saw in this. Because this is the thing, it went right up against Yeti, and Yeti is a machine that you'd never underestimate. It's an absolutely fantastic machine. The Bot Whisperer himself commented on it as well, on how he predicts Yeti to go very, very far in this. And immediately we saw Mad Catter just basically tear Yeti to shreds throughout this fight.
Yeah.
Like, it was a great fight, and Yeti did put up a good fight as well, but very early on, Mad Catter disables the weapon and just shreds it, tears it apart, rips it limb from limb, brutally, like a cat playing with a mouse, culminating in what was, quite frankly, one of the most impressive KO moments in years, as we saw Mad Catter literally disembowel Yeti.
Mad Catter ripped Yeti's ass out.
And tear its batteries out. It was beautiful.
It fucking prolapsed it.
Oh,
But yeah, fucking Mad Catter dominated this fight. Like, it was a little bit back and forth, but I don't think there was ever any doubt. Mad Catter it dominated. It straight up dominated.
Yeah, yet he wasn't without moments in the fight, because it did try to mount a comeback at one point, and at one point Mad Catter did seem to be suffering from some mobility issues.
Yeah,
but,
like, it seemed like he was slowing down, like, towards the end of the fight. Like, it's a little hard to tell, but, like, it seemed like it was, like, losing its pace a bit, like, towards the end.
Yeah, it seemed to be losing some of its maneuverability, like having some steering issues, but by that point the damage was already done, and it only needed to land one or two more blows, and as we saw, it just completely disemboweled Yeti and, just ripped it open. It was absolutely brilliant to watch, and Martin Mason in absolutely fantastic form after the match with his promo that had us actually cheering.
Yeah.
As well, didn't it?
Yes, we are both marked, so of course we would pop big for a wrestling promo.
Yes, right, we should probably elaborate a little bit for the viewers at home. As you've probably picked up from my flawless Macho Man Randy Man...
Macho Man Randy Man? He is the randiest man in the world.
I would tell you to edit that out, but leave it in. Anyway.
Dude, I'm never editing anything out of this. This is a one-take podcast.
Okay. Well, as you can all tell from my flawless Macho Man Randy Savage impersonation, Mac and I are both absolutely huge fans of professional wrestling, and have been for a very, very long time.
Yes, hence why one of the awards we have is literally named after a wrestler.
Yep, the Spike Dudley Award, aka Best Performance in a Losing Effort, or the Dark Horse Award. It depends on which one of the night it goes to, because Spike was the giant killer.
Yep.
But I digress. Mac and I actually originally met via an internet wrestling message board. So, yeah. Shout out to everybody else from the IGM Pro Wrestling board, by the way. Maybe that'll get some extra traffic for the board, which seems to be dying nowadays, to the constant complaints of certain users who were over there.
and I killed it.
Hey, Discord gang, rise up, eh? But yeah, Martin Mason, fantastic post-fight promo. 8 out of 10 fight, I would say, with a 10 out of 10 finish.
I gave it a full 10. Like, that was brilliant. That was a brilliant fight.
Split the difference and say 9 out of 10 then?
Yeah, fair.
And knockout of the night, I am more than happy to already award it to this one, because we've already seen the rest and we know this is the best knockout tonight. It's absolutely fantastic. And great job to Mad Catter, who I am rooting for. One of the teams I really want to go all the way this year.
I honestly think, like, it could win. I think it will win this season, even. Like, I have it pegged all the way.
It really would not surprise me. Like, it's up against some stiff competition, but we saw how well it did last year. And this year, they've learned and, they've come out the gate absolutely swinging.
Absolutely.
On that note, we move on to the rookie outing for Defender, captained by Jason Vasquez of the Whiplash team originally, up against the MIT sensation and one of the most adorable robots in the competition, everybody's favorite frog, Ribbot.
The frog that just keeps on coming back. Even though it should lose many times over in many instances, it just keeps surviving.
Keeps surviving, and if anything, just keeps on thriving as well. We saw how it took out Beta with very little trouble last season in the round of 16.
Very true.
But yeah, like, there's a lot of experience going on here because Ribbot's been around for years, and Jason Vasquez comes from one of the first families of the entire robot combat profession at this point as well, having previously been on the Whiplash team. Now, with Defender, a control bot in its first ever outing, and right out of the gate, we saw Defender's driving was absolutely brilliant. Of course, up against Ribbot. Ribbot also fantastic driver, so that really didn't count for much. But it started out quite evenly with Defender swarming and actually backing Ribbot into a corner, but with Ribbot's big, long forks, Defender wasn't really able to get in underneath, and that ended up costing it dearly moments later when Ribbot came back hard and fucking whomped them.
Yes, it did, and then after whomping him, it waved at them like a smug cunt.
And then just bam, and bam, and bam, knocks it dead.
Yep.
Ribbot doing what it does best. It hits fast and it hits hard.
Yes, it does.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a lot like Froppy in that regard. Another frog-themed character in something.
Yes. In many things.
Who was able to kick like a fucking horse.
I don't even remember her kicking anything. Like, at least I know off the top of my head.
Well, we see the way that she jumps. If you apply that to kick, she'd kick right through somebody.
I mean, yeah, but like, yeah, true.
But I digress. We're here to debate Battlebots, not My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Again, that is something for another day when I've actually caught up on Season 5.
Yes, or when you read Vigilantes, like someone who isn't a pervert.
Look, I'll get to it eventually. I've got so many other things to read, man.
Get to it now. It's better than the actual series.
Look, I'm sure it is, but I've got so many other things that I'm working through.
Yeah,
like, I've
true.
got to start playing Persona 5 after I finish Judgment.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll talk to you after, like, at the end of the podcast about that, actually.
Okay, then. Right, okay, so, overall, the fight itself, nothing special. There were some big hits, but it was over quite quickly.
Yeah.
There was nothing hugely eventful in there. Although, yeah, we did see Ribbot.
Like, other than, like, Ribbot, like, sort of waving, like... Yeah, there wasn't much to this fight. I would say
like,
this, like, Farouk's line at the beginning about, like, Ribbot being the only frog that'll make you croak. Does Farouk not know of the poison dart frog?
See, that was actually a very good point. I mean, it's like... But then again, we don't expect Farouk to be an expert on frogs. We expect him to spit fire and do the best intros.
Everybody should be an expert about frogs. Come on, frogs are great animals. Actually,
well, you're not wrong there.
Actually, you know, a poison dart frog skin for Ribbot would actually be sick.
Oh, that would be really cool.
In fact, why haven't they done more skins for like based on different frogs? Like,
I don't know. I guess it was just a matter of like originally we know that Ribbot was made out of foam. Maybe it's just because the green looks more photogenic. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess. Maybe it's also like a cost thing. I don't know.
Well, you know what? If the Ribbot team are somehow listening, we can pray to the heavens that they are. We would love to for this to be listened to by actual Battlebots teams, after all. If they're listening, you've got a great idea from us right there. Remember that.
Yes. Alternatively, I've driven off all of our audience with my swearing.
I mean, well, let's be fair. The robot combat sport isn't exactly a sport that's new to cursing and everything.
I mean, yeah, true, but like at the same time, it's also like a lot more family friendly.
Yeah, but engineering workshops, my friend, you got to remember.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, that's true.
Anyway, yeah. Overall, 6 out of 10 fight. Some big hits from Ribbot, but there wasn't really that much to talk about in this one. Although I did enjoy that we had a good spotlight on the unique designs in between that and the next fight.
Oh yeah, I didn't really have anything written down for that, but I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, nice little video package highlighting the uniqueness of various robots, and it's just something you love to see.
I hope we get more weird-ass robots.
It's the thing, because there's no reason you can't build for lack of a better phrase, weird or unique-looking robot and it not be competitive at this point.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like even Rusty manages to hang in very well.
God,
these
yeah,
days.
Rusty's a perfect example of that.
But anyway, up to our next one. Speaking of the weird and wonderful, we have Hijinks versus Mammoth, both of which fall into this category, in my opinion. Hijinks for the absolutely beautiful paint job and the unique wide load style design on its spinner, and Mammoth as well. Oh, debuting its brand new weapon, which I absolutely love. The giant spinning high density polyethylene hammer.
Oh,
What
yes.
a weapon.
This
And
was a
Mammoth
fun
looking
fight.
absolutely amazing as always.
Team Hijinks start off by T-posing. They asserted their dominance immediately.
Yes. We haven't mentioned yet who we were backing for each fight so far.
Yeah,
have we?
because at that point we had forgotten to write it down or even discuss it.
Okay, but like going back quickly, in the first one, both of us backed Mad Catter, and both of us backed Ribot in the second one as well.
Yeah.
So, moving on to this one, we both backed Mammoth as well,
Yeah.
which is nothing against Hijinks because we know Hijinks is a great robot, but with Mammoth's new weapon, we were expecting big things, and boy, Mammoth did not disappoint in that regard.
Oh, yes it did. Yes, I mean, no, it did. You know what I mean? No, it did not. Like, Mammoth, still a big boy, still a big, beefy boy.
Yeah. We remember it doing its Cirque du Soleil routine with Huge last year. That was insane.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god,
And
that's
here-
a big suplex body.
Here, coming out of the gate, we got a good tussle for control, a bit of a shoving match to start out,
Yep.
until eventually they manage to separate. Mammoth gets up to speed and just absolutely punt kicks Hijinks halfway across the box, on top of the screws, if I'm remembering correctly, and just
Yeah.
loosens the wheel.
Or at least like right
Or-
next to the right next to the screws.
And yeah, just hits it so hard that one of the wheels comes loose and then falls off a moment later, and that's the end of things for Hijinks.
Yes.
Although
indeed.
part of me was rooting for Hijinks to spin so fast that it would just take off like a helicopter. Can you imagine?
I mean, it was kind of getting there.
But yeah, we see right away, like, Mammoth is one of those robots that you look at it and you wonder a little bit about some of the weaknesses, like the wheels, but when it's actually in practice, it's so well driven and it does so much damage with that big looping hammer. A lot more than you would expect, in fact.
Yes, indeed.
And with the way that the HDPE is designed to bend rather than break, it can actually kick with a lot of force this year as well. It's one of those things, HDPE has become such a staple in the robot combat community over the years, because, like, were you aware of that, Mac?
Not really, no.
Okay, so HDPE you'll actually see quite often used in stuff like featherweight and beetleweight types of robot combat, because it's very, very light, and it's very, very durable.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that you'll actually see quite often as a result of that. It was also, I believe, part of Nelly the Yellybot's armor as well the other year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I would need to ask my friend Sarah about that. Shout out to Sarah if she's listening, by the way. Anyway, but yeah, we're seeing a lot more HDPE in the US-based robot combat now as well, which is really cool to see, because HDPE, fantastic building material.
Oh, okay.
If I ever get around to building like a lightweight robot of my own, it would most likely have HDPE style armor anyway.
Ah, right.
Anyway, overall score for this fight, I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it was a decent fight, but it was really made by the ending.
Yeah, like I had that pretty much the same way.
Yeah. Okay, so 7 out of 10 for Hijinks versus Mammoth, and now we move on to Florida Men, the fight.
It certainly was.
We got Kraken versus Rotator, and yes, if there is a fight that lives up to the term Florida Man, it's this one.
Immediate fucking fire.
Yes, right. Okay, so both myself and Mac were backing Kraken because I am a huge fan of Kraken and just the team as a whole. I like Rotator as a robot, but I do have a tendency to root against it for various reasons, and I just really wanted to see Kraken walk away with the win in this. But right away, this fight gets off to a huge start as well. Like, both machines coming out looking beautiful as all hell, and Wally, of course, looking cute as fuck.
Yep.
But
Of course.
oh, shortly into this, as they're locking up, as they're tussling and everything, we're familiar with what happened with the with getting locked together later on. But just before that, Rotator, in one of the cruelest displays I've ever seen, killed Wally. Quite
Rotator.
brutally, in fact.
Rotator once again proving themselves to be absolute heels.
Force them out for Wally, my friend.
Yep.
Everyone's favorite mini-bot.
He will be back and stronger than ever.
Oh, yeah, of course. But with that, Kraken was pissed. And boom, immediately locked together.
And then stuck together.
It carried on for quite a while, actually, and in the end, they had to stop the fight in order to get them separate. And that was when things really started to take a turn for the worse for Kraken, because at that point, Rotator really starts asserting itself, and just bam, 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 big hit after big hit. And you could actually already see from the flames, you knew right away that was not a good thing for Kraken either, because as we witnessed last year up against Black Dragon, I believe it was, fire ended up gutting the airbag that was used to power the weapon.
Yeah.
And that was unfortunately for Kraken what happened here, which left it basically toothless.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally, a moment later, it ended up toothless as Rotator ripped the teeth out of its head.
God, that was brutal.
Oh yeah, absolutely, but not as brutal as what was to come, because Kraken kept on swarming and coming back, and then boom, just the airbag gets blown up as Rotator hits him from the side, and the entire box shakes from the explosion, just like last year.
God, that was actually goddamn brutal. Like,
Yes.
I don't think I've seen like that level of destruction.
Well,
I mean, you know what I mean. Like, while still like having the robot be alive.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, Soulblaze was still alive after the explosion last year. But
Yeah,
that's
true.
not to take anything away from Kraken, because Kraken kept going and just would not die.
Yeah, the
As one it gets ripped open even more. Rotator rips off one of its wheels, and it keeps on going.
Kraken will never. It will not die. It is the Matt Hardy
Kraken
of Robot Wars.
Kraken is borderline indestructible at this point, and
Yeah.
you just absolutely love to see it. It's a beautiful machine. It's one of the best engineered machines in the competition, and it's so well driven. And the fact that it stayed alive this long against all hope, against Rotator like this, it really is a testament to just how brilliantly engineered that machine is, and to how brilliant a driver that Matt Spurk is as well.
Absolutely.
And yep, just fight of the night in my opinion. That was the best fight of the entire episode.
Oh yeah, I gave that a full 10 out of 10. Like as well. Like,
you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 as well. And we
yeah.
also have the best performance in a losing effort award for Kraken for staying so strong in all of that. It's just absolutely fantastic.
One of the strongest performances I've seen in a while. Like,
yeah, just took an absolute ass kicking, but really shone through with how tough it was.
Yeah. How can anyone
deserving.
not love Kraken?
Truly deserving of the Spike Dudley reward in that regard.
Yeah, the reward.
Shut up, you. Anyway, moving on. We have everybody's favorite boy, Rusty.
Yes.
Up against newcomer bot, Blip.
It's Blip TV. Remember that? That was a thing.
Vaguely. But the fact of the matter is, David Eaton, man, he is everything that is right with robot combat.
He's the most likable man in the entire business.
He really is. He comes in with a robot. He comes in with a garage build made out of junk, and he still manages to stay competitive. He is just one of the most likable men in the entire competition. He's perpetually cheerful. He is just everything that you want out of a roboteer.
And Rusty himself is He's everything you want in a Jobber robot.
Now, this is the thing. I think that this particular version of Rusty, I think this is the last we'll see of this incarnation of Rusty, because all of the preview images that I've seen for Rusty this year shows it as a much more squat, chunky boy.
Oh, okay.
And looking much different from the Rusty that we see in this episode.
Yeah, because
So
this
I
one
wanna
seemed like it was
say-
falling apart, like, even before the fight began.
Yeah, I feel like this was just the last hurrah for the original incarnation of Rusty, more than anything else.
But man,
But
how about
we'll
Blip?
We'll come to that later on.
How about
We
Blip?
want we'll be wanting to talk about Blip quickly. Now, Blip, created by one of the members of the Tantrum team, now entering separately while still, helping out the Tantrum team during the contest, and operating one of the most unique pieces of weaponry that we've seen in regards to flippers for quite some time. Rather than your standard flipper design or the hydraulic powered flipper that we see with Hydra, Blip operates using a flywheel powered flipper.
Yeah. It's like a trebuchet, right? Like that's how to describe it.
Similar principle to a trebuchet, yes. Now, I do believe that the advantage of having this flywheel powered flipper is you don't have to worry about how many flips that you can get out of it. It all comes from how much power you've got in your batteries, rather than having to worry about anything like pressurized gas or hydraulic fluid or anything like that. So as a result, it looks like it gets both quality and quantity in regards to flips, because as we saw in this fight, it just kicked Rusty halfway across the box effortlessly multiple times.
It was brutal.
It was like we saw Rusty basically get shaken to death from the impacts, including getting its entire back armor ripped off as well. As it got thrown into the pulverizers. And this is the thing we saw with Blip as well. It was incredibly well driven as well.
Was. Like,
brilliant maneuverability, excellent tactical work as well. It was overall, I'd say, a 7 out of 10 fight. It was more than anything else an ass-kicking showcase for Blip, but what an ass-kicking it was.
Yeah, it's like Blip might be one of those new robots that, like, I can see that going all the way to, like, the 16.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget, it's also adorable as well. I mean, look at those little eyes on it.
Yeah.
You've got to love that machine. It immediately established itself on my good books.
One of the best paint jobs, like, in the entire series so far.
Only slightly marred by the fact that, it beat up poor Rusty.
Yeah. I mean, look, someone had to do it.
Yeah, and it is kind of Rusty's thing as well. But yeah, 7 out of 10 fight, great ass-kicking showcase by Blip, and I am very much looking forward to see how it fares against certain other machines in this competition.
Oh yeah, like, I kind of want to see it go up against, like, some other flippers as well, like, that's the battle of the flippers, you know?
Absolutely, I'd definitely be down for that. Moving on, speaking of what we mentioned earlier, this time we saw Tantrum in action going up against Malice. Both of us backed Tantrum going into this because we're both big fans of Tantrum, and we saw how well it did last year, where it basically finished third in the grand scheme of things. And right away, Tantrum showing why it's one of the robots that needs to be beat this year, because, oh my god, phenomenal driving showcase here.
Tantrum is easily one of the best driven robots, like, in the game. It is so good.
It is. It's so fast and maneuverable and well controlled. It can turn the way that it can turn on a dime and everything. If you give it even an inch of space, it could end very, very badly for you. You have to have your A game on at all times against Tantrum. And we saw it in here because Malice is a well-driven robot at the best of times. But Tantrum just absolutely swarmed all over it, beat it up all over the battle box, hit it hard, cutting it off well. Absolute driving masterclass here.
Absolutely.
That wasn't, to Malice's credit, it went all the way to the judges, if I'm remembering correctly.
It did, yeah.
But yeah, there was no question as to how it was going to end at any point. Tantrum just dominated in terms of control and aggression, and did lots of damage as well. Disabled Malice's weapon early on. This was a complete shutout.
It was a beautiful 3-minute squash match.
Absolutely, just Tantrum swarming all over it. Easy recipient for this week's Best Driver Award as well.
Yeah.
We don't even have to wait until the awards portion of the show to be able to figure this out. It was amazing.
True.
Fantastic fight. Everything that you would want to see in an extended squash match.
8 out of 10.
Yes. 8 out of 10 fight. If it had been a little bit more competitive, it would probably be an even higher score. But yeah.
I mean, like, it was that's a complete
Totally entertaining squash. On that note, we come to the main event. I think we'll actually have a slightly shorter episode this week, just because we're getting a bunch of stuff out of the way early, aren't we?
Yeah, true. I mean, also the fact that, like, some of these fights, like, some of them weren't that long. Like, there wasn't really a lot to talk about for some of them.
You know, I'm just thinking, like, we kind of gave things away when we gave Tantrum the Best Driver Award already, didn't we? Because looking at it, Bloodsport versus Whiplash, which has two of the best driving teams in this as well.
Oh, yeah, true.
Although, that being said, great driving showcase in this one, as we'll talk about in a minute.
Oh, beautiful driving showcase.
That was actually my very first thing that I wrote down before the match started, that this was going to be an amazing driving match.
Oh.
Because Bloodsport, fantastically driven. Whiplash, driven by Matty Vasquez, who is arguably the best driver in the game right now as well. But yeah, immediately, right, I was backing Whiplash going into this. Mac, you were backing Bloodsport as well.
Yes.
So yeah, we ended up on opposite sides for this one, and best way to sum this entire fight up: excellent driving and control on behalf of Whiplash. Bloodsport was actually managing to deal a lot of damage to Whiplash, though, as we saw it peeling away big sections of armor, although it did lose a wedge slit or two and what looked like part of its wheel padding at one point.
Yeah.
But Whiplash remained firmly in control, although I do say that if this had gone to the judge's decision, it probably would have ended in Bloodsport's favor, just on the basis of all of the damage that it was doing, because this was a fight where Whiplash went in only with its articulated lifting arm. It didn't have its spinning weapon on it. An understandable choice, given how the fight ends, as we see Bloodsport eventually starting to lose power and Whiplash managing to get it in just the right position up on the shelf in order to make sure that it can't properly self-right.
Yeah.
So Matty Vasquez once again showcasing amazing driving and his brilliant strategic mind as well, as he manages to take down Bloodsport, who by all rights might have won the judge's decision had it gone that far, just because of the damage quota.
Yeah, they definitely got to fight, like, finish right at the right time to, like, avoid that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there were only 2 seconds left on the clock at that point.
1 second. It was 1 second, like, when the buzzer went.
Right. Oh, this reminds me, actually, I've been seeing some stuff online. Some people have been, protesting all of this, saying that if Bloodsport had managed to get off the shelf, they were mostly undamaged. But the fact of the matter is, that was actually untrue. Were you aware of this?
No, I haven't heard anything about this.
See, this is the thing. Part of the reason that Bloodsport failed to self-right was not solely due to its position on the shelf. You see, the reason that it failed to self-right is because by that point, its weapon motor was losing power from everything I've heard.
Oh, okay.
So as a result, there was like a bunch of internal damage caused by all of the whiplash and ricocheting from being hit by Whiplash and tossed all over the place.
Okay.
So yeah, Vasquez did what he does, wore them down, and managed to get a fantastic win out of it. Great main event, 8 out of 10, in my opinion, and that would have won the Best Driver Award were it not for Tantrum's flawless driving in the previous bout.
Absolutely, I agree with that, like 100%.
Excellent. And with that, we are through with all of the fights this week. Let's just consult the formatting for what we have next. We've already given out the episode relevant awards. So
two of them, I think.
No, we've given them all out.
Wait, really?
Best driving, Tantrum. Knockout of the night we gave to Mad Catter versus the Yeti.
Yes.
Best performance in a losing effort went to Kraken. Dark Horse Victory Award.
Oh,
we
didn't really talk about that, like, figure that one out.
Yeah,
I kind of want to say Blip, but Blip doesn't. I wouldn't count Blip as a dark horse.
well, it was its rookie outing, so I think it fits the closest.
Yeah, based on all of these, yeah, like Blip would count the most.
And fight of the night we gave to Kraken versus Rotator with honorable mentions to the main event and the opener.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have any predictions or expectations for moving forward?
Let me think. I mentioned before that I think Mad Cat is gonna win the whole season, so.
I expect that it will go very far.
Yeah, like I still need to see like what the rest of the teams like have to offer, but like at the current moment, I have Mad Cat all the way.
That's your early season pick of the year, then.
It will very much change, I believe, but at the moment, yeah, Mad Cat.
I expect Mad Catter to go very, very far, easily to make the round of 16. I'm hoping it goes all the way, but we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Kraken to come back very, very strong after this as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hoping that Kraken makes it to the round of 16 because, you know me, big fan of Kraken.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, I feel like Kraken will depend on who the match up against, because if they get the right opponents, they're absolutely making the round 16. But like that, we'll have to wait and see.
At the very least, we can expect a bunch of amazing driving belts.
Oh yeah. I mean, the fights are always going to be amazing with Kraken.
Flip, do you see that making the round of 16 possibly?
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's going to depend on who it goes up against, because Rusty isn't exactly the best measuring stick for it.
True,
love you, Rusty baby, but
at the same time, like, we got a really good like example of how its weapon like works and how effective it is. So
it's going to depend on how elite its competition it is, but I think it's a very safe bet to think that it could make the round of 16. Yeah. Tantrum I definitely see making the round of 16, possibly going all the way this year as well.
Oh yeah, true. Like, Tantrum is up there as well, like with Mad Cow for me, for like the robots that are absolutely gonna be with it. Like, I'm gonna predict right now that both Tantrum and Mad Cow will be in the top 4.
Yep, that sounds pretty good. That sounds like a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
And Bloodsport and Whiplash, I predict them both going very far. So yeah. And that covers pretty much everything that we want to talk about the actual episode this week, doesn't it, Mac?
Yes, it is.
Right, cool. Do we have anything else we want to talk about before we go through the signing off period?
You mentioned that you were going through Judgment. Like, how far in are you at the moment?
I'm still on the first chapter.
Jack.
I haven't. Yeah. I've been busy this week, my dude.
You've been making armor. That's all you've been doing.
I only started that yesterday, my dude.
Yes. I mean, what else have you been doing? You're like working? Yeah. Wow.
Work, yes.
You have time after work.
Yeah, but I'm tired after work, so.
Yeah, and Judgment will pick you right up.
I've just been really tired for various reasons this week, man. A bunch of stuff catching up on me, I guess.
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, I'm gonna get back to it. Don't worry, I'm gonna make some headway in it.
Good, because it's a great game. You will.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. But yeah, like I'll probably get around to it over time, because then after that I get to play Persona 5 as well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, for those who haven't been watching it, watch the Book of Boba Fett. The latest episode was great.
Oh, very good.
The whole season so far has been amazing. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to add at this point. Do you have anything else you want to say, Mac?
No, I don't. That was a good episode.
Okay, well, thank you to everybody who's joined us for this week's episode. We hope that you got some entertainment out of our deranged ramblings this week, but well, we are the slowest growing Battlebots podcast on the internet for a reason, and this is probably why.
Yeah. We have no idea what we're doing.
Oh man.
We have like a docket, but like that's on Jackson, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I wrote notes this week, so like, I'm at least
This is why everybody. I'm the play-by-play guy, and he's the color commentator.
Yes, I sometimes make comments and say yes and okay. My vocabulary is terrible.
Well, Mac, this is why your performance is pretty iconic.
And with that, we'll see you next week.
Wow. I went all that trouble of setting up my comments joke for you.
What was that laugh, by the way?
You didn't even take advantage of it.
What was that? What was that laugh? Was that was what was that laugh?
Like somebody machine gunning a seal.
Oh my god! Oh wait, hey, trying to think. Like, there's a character that does that laugh, but like, I can't remember for the life of me what that character, like, what it was.
Janice from Friends.
Yes, but I swear there's another one as well.
Sybil Faulty.
That might be it.
Okay. But yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all that we have for this week, everybody.
I will always know so bad jokes.
Oh man. And I remember it was for you. It was for you because I know you like the iconics.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I like them.
You know, just saying ridiculous stuff and then laughing like lunatics afterwards.
Yeah.
The Australian way, as you
Yes,
call it.
yes, yeah, that's true. That's literally just the Australian sense of humor.
On that note, thank you to everybody who's joined us for this week. We hope to see you next week here on the slowest growing Battlebots podcast on the internet. In the meantime, I'm Jack. He's Mac. Have a great week, yeah?
Yeah, bye-bye.
Ciao.